Train the muscles, not the joints. Okay, so somebody just requested for me to make a cooking video. So hey, I'm gonna make a cooking video. So I've got some beef heart here, and unfortunately my butcher doesn't have organic grass-fed beef heart. So I do eat beef heart from my butcher anyway if I can't get access to grass-fed beef heart and stuff. And the thing is with beef heart or organ meat, it's extremely cheap. That's the great thing about it. So it's really easy to do the bodybuilding thing if you can't afford, you know, skinless chicken breast or whatever. I mean, if you eat organ meat, I mean, you get a lot of nutrients, like way more nutrients than you do from muscle meat, but at the same time, you get a lot of protein and everything too. So anyway, I got some non-organic beef heart, which is not necessarily the best version, which is why, you know, I'll take ancestral supplements, right? Like I'll take, you know, beef kidney and all this, because these are organic, grass-fed and all that kind of stuff. That's not an ad, it's just the truth. I just basically can take that stuff on a regular because it is grass-fed, non-GMO and organic, right? So, but yeah, I will still eat beef heart because I love beef heart. It's cheap. It's really, honestly, it's dumb for you guys not to eat, because if you eat stew beef's way more expensive and it doesn't have close to as much nutrition as this does. And this tastes just as good. So yeah, right now I'm gonna be making some beef heart. So here we go. So this is about a pound of beef heart right here. Now I get the butcher to cut it up into chunks, so it's perfect for just throwing it right in the pan right away. I just put a little bit of garlic on it. Hey, garlic monster, there you go. And take it, put it in the pan, that's easy. Now most guys will heat the pan, whatever. You know what? I'm just doing this for convenience right now, right? I put this on about like medium heat. I'll show you with this camera. I put it on about like medium heat right here, you can see. Let's see here if I can adjust this right. So it's just basically on, not simmer. It's not on simmer, it's like medium, right? So at first I heat it up on high, but then I put it around there. That's usually hot enough. And then I'll throw a little bit of water in the pan here and there when I need it, if I need it. So that way I have, you know, the pan not burning or whatever, and I steam the meat, especially if the chunks are a little bit bigger. Sometimes I need to steam it a little bit, but it still tastes really good. So you don't have to worry about drying it out too much. There is a bit of fat in there. Not a ton, but there is a bit of fat, so it does taste pretty good. Kind of like stew beef, like a lot like it anyway. So just stir it around. And like I said, when it starts to stick to the pan, I just basically put a little bit of water in there. Just put some water in here right now. We'll turn on the fan. Sorry for the noise, guys, but otherwise the whole house will smell like an Italian restaurant, you know? Now the neat part about the water is, I'll show you in a little bit. Kind of cool. So you see the Ziploc container right here? Or just a little bowl like this? Is I put a tiny bit of flour in here. I should change the plans. I'm going to use so here's some rye flour. I mean, you can use like normal flour, whatever you want, but I'm just going to put a tiny bit in here. You know, about a, I don't know, handful, right? About a handful. See this? I don't know if you can see this. See, about that much. See? About a handful, see? Hand. Then I put enough water in it Like it is, I don't have to saturate it too much, but just enough water so that I can mix it up and then it basically dissolves in there. So all the flour dissolves. Okay, I'll show you this. See this? It's all dissolved in there. Barely any chunks, right? And then what I'll do is I'll wait till that beef heart is cooked. Like right now it's still red, right? I'll wait till it's mostly cooked. I'll keep stirring it around. And yeah, I'll put a lid on here too, so just it'll help steam it faster. There you go. And yeah, so what I'll do is I'll then pour this in there and stir it and it'll make a nice gravy. So those of you who are on low carb diets and stuff, I mean, you could have really low amount of flour in there and add a little bit of gravy and it still has pretty low carbs, right? So you could just look at the package and see how much carbs you're allowed to have in your diet and go from there. But I find that this makes the beef heart even better. Anyway, I like gravy, but it's not really much fat and it's just a tiny bit of starch and it just really gives that overall kind of like feeling like it's a treat instead of just organ meat, right? But I eat it just by itself with just some salt and stuff too and pepper, and I'm good with that too. But this is just a good change because sometimes you're eating the same thing all the time. It's nice to change it up a bit. All right. Looks like this is mostly cooked. I mean, it's probably a bit red on the inside, not too bad. I'm gonna bring the camera here closer. So now what I do is I bring this gravy here, or this flour and water. Now I just pour it in, and then I just mix it as I'm going. So sometimes it'll get flour on the bottom, especially if you have more rye or spelt flour. It's kind of thick. But basically what I'll do is I'll just stir it as it's going, right? You might need to turn up the heat a little bit because the water brings it down a little bit as far as the temperature. And then if I notice that it's like too thick in the bottom, then I'll add a little bit more water, right? I'll add extra. Because you want it to be smooth and thick, but not too thick. You don't want it to be grainy, right? Put some salt, a couple pinches of salt in there. Starting to look good or what? See, that's pretty much good, eh? Look at that, gravy. So if you guys aren't on a hardcore cut, you know, you add some potatoes with this, or maybe you use some bread or whatever it is that you respond best to. I don't really respond too well to bread, but yeah, you could just soak up that gravy with that. But if you don't do it, this tastes great just the way it is. And you could put leeks or onions in here as well. I kind of just shortcutted this whole thing, but putting leeks or onions in here actually really makes a big difference too. So sometimes I'll put mushrooms and onions in here as well. But today I just felt like just showing you just the beef heart with the gravy, and there you go. You can choose what other vegetables you want to put in there. All right. Here we go, breakfast of champions, or dinner, or lunch, or whatever it is you want. Look at that. Yeah? Look at that. It's a little hot still. It's just too hot. I can't eat it right now. It's hot. All right. So here we go. Thing is, the texture with beef heart is like a little bit chewier, so it takes a bit to get used to, but if you stew it for long periods of time, then it gets softer as well. So if you want, you can just cook it over a longer period of time by just putting the heat down low or lower. But honestly, it's still pretty good just the way it is. So yeah, if you haven't so far, just give beef heart a try. You'll notice that it's really not as intimidating as it seems. So you'll notice a lot more nutrition in your diet. You may notice an overall feeling of well-being in the body happening. So that's what happened to me the first time I ate beef heart. I felt this light, fluffy feeling go through the entire body. So yeah, sometimes you're deficient in something you don't even realize you are. And organ meat is a great place to start when it comes down to addressing some of those deficiencies. So thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now. Mountain.
Gallant! Gallant! Gallant!